Have you ever heard the saying, surround yourself with millionaires and soon enough you'll become one? Well, the same can be said about pretty much anything, including your art and your career. You might be telling yourself it's easier said than done, but let me prove you wrong. Hi, if you don't know me, I'm Nicholas Vio. I'm a professional artist in the industry as well as owning my own art company. This is episode 1 of my art career guide where I teach you how to become a professional artist. Let's get into it. Tip number 1. Have you ever thought of your friend group in an objective kind of way? I'm not talking about like trying to get your friends to be your customers, but more specifically, people who succeed in your niche. It's great and all to have a friend group already, but reaching out to other people, especially people who you're trying to get a career out of, you need to try and make those connections to see what they did and then bring that to your own career with the things that they did as mistakes to not repeat, and then also with their successes to try and get the formula to actually become a concept artist. Let's take a fictional character, for example.
Her name will be Sheila. Sheila finished art school here in Canada 3 years ago. She couldn't afford all of her classes, so she took loans to pay off 2 years of art school. She has a debt of around $10,000. While she was at art school, she made lots of friends who also took loans, and now everyone is stuck not having paid those loans. Sheila has been stuck in an endless cycle of paying the minimum required balance off her loan and jokes about it with her friends who all do the same thing. Until she meets Rebecca. Rebecca went to the same art school and Sheila randomly found Rebecca's art account on Instagram. They start talking and eventually Rebecca talks about how she got out of that debt. Eventually, Sheila meets all of Rebecca's friends who also got out of debt, and Sheila starts to learn how she could get out of it too. Of course, you can't apply this metaphor to any scenario, but the point is that sometimes things feel impossible, like paying off your debt, and instead of trying to think of a way out, we rely on others in the same situation to make us feel comfortable with a situation instead of trying to surmount it. You might be Sheila right now, but I promise you, if you reach out to people like Rebecca, you can make anything happen.
Which brings me to tip number 2, waking up in the morning. You don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. in order to succeed, okay? What you do have to do is make a to-do list. The importance of making a to-do list is, one, very impactful, but also it is so easy to do, and it takes around 1 minute per day. You can even do it like random times during the day where you're on the bus and you're commuting somewhere, and then you just think of an idea, you just write it down on your phone, and then once you get home, when you're like near your bedroom, you can put up a post-it note with all the things to do, and then when you wake up in the morning, you have that to-do list right next to you when you wake up, like on a bedside table, and you can just go and list off the things you have to do for the day. It's a great way to remind yourself of what you have to do. But not only that, but it also works as a short-term vision board. Every time you wake up in the morning and you see that vision board for your long-term success plans, every single time you see that, it actually reinforces something in your brain to tell yourself, oh, I should try and achieve that today. And so to-do lists are essentially the same thing, but in a much smaller short-term plan. And then once you get those things done off your list, then you can just check things off. The reason why we check things off and we don't just subconsciously know that we've done them and then ignore them is because we actually get some kind of serotonin into our brain every time we check something off. We get the sense of accomplishment that we've done our task or tasks, depending on how much you have to do in a day. And then just having that serotonin hit, it'll try to make you succeed and continue to check things off of your list, so that way, once it's done, you get that big serotonin boost. Here are some great examples of smaller things to do in a to-do list. So, make a portfolio. Too big of a task. Let's simplify it down into more things. 1. You can refine your portfolio into X amount of illustrations to refine that day. You can improve your graphic design. You can make a new character. You can make a new final piece with that character. Once you have all that, you can combine it all together, and that's how you make a portfolio. All right, second example, apply to the job submission. Way too vague. 1, look into new keywords that they've used in the job listing. 2, use those words and create a new cover letter. 3, link your portfolio to the email and cover letter. 4, email HR to notify them of your submission. The third tip I have for you is to actually think of yourself as a business. So oftentimes when we're just starting out our career, especially as an artist, we think of the struggling artist mindset. And we really don't want to associate with that. Let's say you want to start your own business to print some stickers and some posters. You can think of, oh, what kind of stickers do I want to sell and how much I want to sell them for. But let's say you're selling your stickers for $5. What you don't want to have happen is you don't know how many stickers you have to sell. You don't know how many posters you have to sell. And so I've created a free form that you can use to see how much you need to sell to achieve your goal. So here is the free tool I was talking about. You can see we have the calculation sheet right here with all my products. So let's say we wanted to sell some stickers for $5, but it actually costs us around $1.50 to make those stickers. So if we were to actually sell those stickers and we would to sell, let's say 100 of them, then that's exactly how much profit we'd make. We'd make around $350. And let's say posters cost us $10 to make, and we sell 10 of those. We'd make $500. That's it. Need some higher profit items like these 4 that I have personally for my website. So if I sell 10 of these or like 100 of the small items, you can see I'm getting $9,000 and $2,790 on the big item. And that's only from the same amount of sales as the stickers and posters. The next thing I added to this free template is also a profit per product. And so that way you can really see how much your items are selling for and which ones are actually making the most amount of money. The last thing I added was the goal to this template. And so if, let's say your amount is 60,000 that you want, you'll see that from the total that we have at 57,000, including that, you'll see how much is missing from there. Yeah. If you start to see the amount and you're thinking it's really unrealistic, you can always book a session with me one-on-one online to really start up your career. Link is in the description. I'd love to help you out, so hope to see you there. Let's say you're a barista working full-time and you only do art in your free time as a hobby. Maybe you want to try to switch over your barista into a full-time artist gig. You need to slowly build your business into a way that you can start to sell it as part-time, and then you can keep your job full-time until it becomes financially viable for you to become a full-time artist. Either that, or you're going to have to make sacrifices. The reason why I say that is because you can either start to make some part-time income as an artist and tell yourself, maybe I can just quit my day job and then become a full-time artist if I give enough hours. You have to think of, is it actually worth it for you? Will it be sustainable for you for years to come? And is that actually a viable thing for you as a career? The reason why I say this is because I don't want people to quit their jobs and think, oh, I can just go full-time art into this thing. That doesn't happen to most people. Some people are lucky and it does happen, but you need to have a backup plan in case that fails. Because especially if you're, having to pay for rent or for your kids, or maybe you're just someone who shops a lot and you don't have enough money to sustain yourself, especially with that amount of pay. You have to pay towards your interests. You have to think of yourself as sacrificing something in your life to get there. So it's either you're going to have to sacrifice time, you're going to have to sacrifice your income, or you're going to have to sacrifice something else. And are you willing to make that sacrifice? You have to think about it. Once you start to make connections, or you want to start to see what people did to achieve their careers, you can always reach out to them. Worst they can say is no, or they can ghost you. So just having the opportunity to interview someone, just talk about how they achieved their careers, what successes they had, and what made them fail, can inform you to make more decisions about your own career and how you would get there. I totally recommend it. Either that, or again, tip number 1, make a new friend group. For example, when I started to try and think of a business idea that I wanted to make, I wanted to surround myself with people who also have small art businesses. And so that's exactly what I did. I reached out to my friend who I already knew before, and I told them to connect me with other people who have small art businesses. And now I have a group of 5 people who we just talk about our small businesses and how we can improve them and how we can make them grow.
I really appreciate you watching this video, and if ever you're interested in more videos from me, you can watch this video of how I became a professional artist and how I got my first real job. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again.